Okay, so we talked about all this shit. So let's talk about the plague boar shit, because I think I had some takes about that on Twitter yesterday, as I'm sure you saw. So I'd like to explain them, and also explain just how I feel about it one day later.
Mr. Zyro, Mr. Doa, I have some insider information about what is actually happening with the plague boars. So newly released, there is a bug with misdirection. The plague boars aren't global combating people. It's MD.
Oh. Huh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah. Apparently, if you let misdirection expire inside of a dungeon, you have permanent MD.
What? Really?
Is it a tournament? Is it a tournament realm thing, or is that a?
It's probably a live thing.
Probably
just a dungeon thing, man.
Okay, so for one, they did this. They did the MD thing, and they did the snapping of the plague boars. Two distinctly separate things. They said they asked Blizzard if it was okay. Okay, we don't know if they asked them whether the misdirect thing was okay or the snapping thing. I imagine they just asked them about the snapping. But regardless, before anyone wants to put this on Echo, the admins sat there for 5 hours and watched them do it the whole time, and didn't stop it or ask anything, or they just let it happen. So if you want to place any blame at all, it's on the admins, not the team. If you guys are talking about Fragnance hiding his UI, that's some major conspiracy shit to say that he's trying not to get banned by exploiting some bug. You know what he was doing? Knowing that guy very well, he was making sure no other team found out what they were doing so they couldn't copy what they were doing. Just to be clear. That is why they did that. I'm positive. So just stop all that other shit. Now, there's a couple... I'm going to get into the different crowds of people that are upset about this, because in my mind, they've been separated into 3 distinct groups. But before we do that, I want to give you guys a little bit of history that maybe some people who are both a casual viewer of WoW esports, PvE esports, or someone who's never competed at a high level in WoW PvE, and tell you what it's like dealing with Blizzard and bugs. Because I have experienced that a lot. And the Team Echo that played yesterday experienced that a lot, okay? I'll use Maiden from Tomb of Sargeras as an example. Did you all notice how Method's world first Maiden kill was super strange and way different than everyone else's? Did you guys notice that they soaked certain hammers as a group and then ran around in a circle rather than every other guild just standing still and having their tanks solo these smashes? Do you guys know why that happened? Because they asked Blizzard, they did the tank solo thing, which would be obvious of any good guild to figure out in a testing, right? And then Blizzard told them, do not do that when the boss comes out, or we will keep buffing the tank mechanic until it can't be soloed. Do not do that, or we will fix it. That's what they told him, okay? And then, so obviously, for their world first kill, they do a clearly harder strat of doing the soaking thing, right? And then turns out they just let every guild do it anyway, and they never nerfed it for any of them. So Method, by listening to Blizzard, got totally fucked. Okay? Now that's a situation for Method. Now I'll give you a situation for me. Okay? Limit Kingaroth. Okay, this is THD's point of view. THD's a gamer, right? THD's been around for a bit. Alright, so we're pulling Kingaroth. We killed this day 1. There was a bug on this fight. Let me explain what it was. Okay? When you killed these bosses here, these little Garathi decimators or whatever, whenever you killed the last one, it would give the boss the buff that the last ad did, and if you ever killed an ad 2 times in a row, it would give the boss a 25% damage increase for the rest of the fight, okay? That was the fight's mechanic. But there was a bug on the first day, which we reported in testing, by the way, that if you killed any of these, this is on live, if you killed any of those ads during this really long Ruiner cast right here, do you see this 4-second Ruiner cast? If you killed an ad during it, the boss would not gain the buff. So what you could do is kill all those mobs during the Ruiner cast, and the fight would basically never get harder, and it would be a joke, okay? So we, on the first day, are talking to Blizzard, saying, hey, we've had pulls on accident where it just happens that we kill this thing during the Ruiner, and we've had to wipe it because it's clearly not working correctly. Is it okay for us to kill this? And they're like, no, do not kill like that. It's obviously a bug. So we literally had to change our kill time of, I think, our 3rd ad, so it died right, let's see, right, where is it? The ad's not up yet. It's the one before this. This one. This ad, look at this. We had to kill the ad at a different time so it didn't bug. We had multiple wipes where we almost killed this boss. And we stopped because the boss didn't get a stack, and Blizzard told us that wasn't okay. So we end up killing it in like 40 pulls because of all that shit. And then the next day, Method and Scrubbusters and all of these guilds log in. I'm assuming they don't even talk to Blizzard at all, and they kill this boss in less than 5 pulls because they, I'm assuming on accident, killed these ads during the Ruiner cast, and the boss never got harder, and they got shit on. Guess what Blizzard did? Not a fucking thing. Okay? So if you are someone like Echo or us or other guilds that are constantly at the top end of PvE, you run into situations over time where you don't know how to deal with Blizzard. You don't know whether what Blizzard is saying is true or not true because they've been rare to enforce it, and they use really ambiguous language, and they're, again, inconsistent with enforcing it, to where basically how we all act now is if we ever think something is really, really good but potentially on the line, you do it and never talk about it, and they have not disciplined you for it in forever. Okay? That's the reality. I'll tell you that right now. That's the reality. Because the times where we have, they've basically told us not to do it, and then other people have, and they don't punish them. So you could have done it. And there's never been a situation opposite of that. So there's been this relationship with Blizzard where you don't really trust their... Hell yeah? Okay. Hell yeah is not the same. Guys, there's a big difference between something like that and killing your tank during the first breath and her not doing a single thing for the rest of the fight. That's a lot different than a bug like this. Usually the line between clever use of game mechanics and exploiting, at least in raids, usually comes down to them seeing you completely make... If you find a way to make a mechanic not happen at all, that's usually in a raid where they'll like take action against you. But anything else, it's weird. Like Method on Raw Den, right? Method used Warlocks to get like supremacy shit before the pull, and they were doing triple the damage of all of our Warlocks, and it made them not even have to lust on the pull, right? They were able to lust in the last phase, right? If you do it before they can fix it, they will not punish you for it, okay? So just, I'm giving you all of this as background information just so you know that before you guys are just looking at this as a one-time thing, as a casual viewer, that this is more complicated than you think. There's a lot of history involved in specifically Echo, which is formerly Method, obviously, us and some other people with dealing with Blizzard on specific bug topics. So I would say, regardless of what happened yesterday and what you want to think, and I'll get into the 3 factions of people who are kind of complaining about this right now and explain why their thought processes are the way they are. It's on Blizzard, not Echo. Because if Echo asked them for permission and those admins stayed there for, 5 hours watching them do it and they didn't fix it or say to stop doing it, then they're not giving them a chance of doing it legit because they asked permission, right? Both on that and on this, Blizzard is too ambiguous, and the language and specifically rules for tournaments are not strict enough. If they don't want that to happen again, it's on Blizzard to make sure that all teams know exactly what is and what isn't okay, because I just told you from history that they have not done that, okay? They have not done that in the past. So I think it's on Blizzard and not on Echo. Now, let's get into the 3 factions of people who are upset about the bug, and I'll explain all of their reasons. Faction number 1, logical people who really liked the event, are not really pulling for any team, and they loved the format, and they really liked watching people at the very end going dungeon for dungeon for a close finish to see who would win. And none of those people are really fans of any team. They're just like, you know what, I really like this tournament, but the fact that the last day turned out to be kind of like a bug, like bug use or just like a cheese strat was like used to win, which again, I told you, like, I think J.B had a good tweet where it's like, there's no bugs or exploits in Mythic Plus, just stuff you haven't thought of first. Again, as a casual viewer, that makes you mad, but as someone who competes, that's exactly how it works, by the way. But I don't think any of those people are wrong. If you're a logical viewer of the race or of the tournament and you really liked it, right? I think that's a very real criticism to have. Like, man, this tournament was great, but at the end it was kind of a bummer just because it ended kind of weird. I think that's totally logical. Okay? Now, faction number 2 are fans of the team or any of the fans of teams who lost or teams who lost because of it. And their main point while I'm sure is, kind of in the line of, we want everything to be kind of straightforward, but I think Echo wants that too. But again, I just kind of gave you a few references as to why that hasn't been the case in the past, and it makes sense for Echo to not feel that way. Those teams are upset, I think, in a few of their cases because they lost, and if the tides were reversed, they would see themselves on the exact other side of the coin. Same with the fans. If it wasn't just a team they were rooting against, they would be basically fine with it. It's basically just a fandom thing. And then there's number 3. Number 3, which I believe is most of the people throwing a fit about the Echo Plaguefall thing, are people who weren't even watching the Great Push until Wowhead made a title that had the word bug in it yesterday. And that's most of everyone who's complaining. They weren't even watching it. They don't f***ing care. It's just the entire WoW community at any turn wanting to just whine about anything. Basically, Wowhead, not on purpose, I'm not like blaming Wowhead, with that title incited that mob to come in and end up with their anime avatars in every Twitter thread about how unbelievable it was that it ruined this tournament that they didn't even care about until they heard the words Echo and Bug, and they're just fucking going everywhere, going wild. That's most of the crew, by the way. And to people who are that, or if you find yourself on a team upset about it, I'm not saying, like, if there's a team that's like, man, I wish the rules were more consistent, that's fine. But if you're a team, like, losing and then saying, oh, Echo did this and Echo did some weird shit to beat us and all that stuff, or if you're a fan of them saying that, or you are, again, you are someone who only paid attention to this because you saw a Wowhead article with the word bug in it and wanted to throw a fit, you're a fucking loser. And I'll stand by that. When I made that tweet saying that yesterday, that was before I knew anything about an MD bug. But even with it, after everything I said, that's just true. However, if you are a fan of the Great Push, you like High Mythic Plus, you're watching the tournament, and you were like, I kind of understand where Echo's coming from. I think Blizzard could have moderated this better. I hope they make the rules better for next time, because the end of the tournament could have been better. Even though it was great, it could have been better if they were just a little bit more consistent. Okay? And then because of that, the tournament has a little bit of a stain because of that. I think that's totally logical, and I completely understand your opinion. But for all the other people I just mentioned, that's fucking weird. Okay? It's just weird. When people come up with a strat that's better than yours, and you could have done it, it really does not come off well when you're the one criticizing people when, it was something you could have done. That's all. Outthinking people and strategies are a way you can win in WoW. And it's just never a good look to put it on the team. Now, I'm okay with you shitting on Blizzard. I'm okay with you shitting on Blizzard, by the way. If you're like, man, Blizzard really fucked up. But if you're blaming Echo or saying, like, Echo cheated or Echo should be at fault for this, you're lost. And you don't know what it's like to play at the highest level. Because I've given you examples of how completely not direct Blizzard is about this stuff. Which is stuff you don't know. It's a total, like, complete casual opinion to have the opinion that Echo, like, fucked anybody over. It's just wrong. And keep in mind, I'm not a fucking Echo fanboy. I do not like them, right? Like, I mean, I'm cool with them. I have respect for them. But every time races come out, I want to fucking destroy that guild. This is not like I have no reason to support them. It's just how it works. It's in the EULA to not abuse exploits. Yeah, okay. Hey, real quick, that's on Blizzard. It's on Blizzard. Like I said, shitting on Blizzard for that, or making their language more direct, or being way more consistent in their enforcement, is on Blizzard, not Echo. If you are going out of your way to shit on Echo for that, you're a clown, man. There's a clip where one of the players said, the thing is that Blizz doesn't even care about Mythic Plus. If this happened on the World First competition, they would ban Echo for sure. No, they wouldn't. That's a wrong take. How can you have that take? How? I just showed you and gave multiple examples. Multiple examples on how in the Race to World First, for World First kills, there is scenarios where basically this exact thing happened and they don't do anything. So, like, that's just wrong. All the examples you gave, the World First kills didn't use the bug? No, but the World Second kills did. I think the argument you're making is that Blizzard, if they were done for the World First kill, which in both of those bosses, by the way, was very short apart and they were mid-tier bosses, that they would have been banned because of that, and that's wrong. That's just not true. Now, are you asking me if in a Mythic Plus Great Push tournament that all the dungeons should just be run normally like you would on live to make it as relatable as possible? One of the reasons the Great Push is great, and that there shouldn't be any, like, you know, wild snapping plague boar shit. Are you asking me if plague boars should exist? No, I don't. Obviously not. That's stupid. And I think the winner of those things should all be determined by the team that's just pulling dungeons and doing the thing. Sure, you could make that argument. I think I agree with that. But that's not Echo's fault. Blizzard allowed that to happen, not them. Echo did the best thing they could to win, and they did. You cannot fault a team for doing that unless they're doing extremely nefarious things, which they just... Unless you are anti-Echo, I just find that really hard to believe that you've gotten all the things that I've said today and you've come to the conclusion that fuck Echo. Yeah, so hopefully next time they make a tournament, they put in very clear writing what will happen if you're doing stuff like that. And the admins actually do what they're supposed to do, and something like that will be a lot better. But regardless of all the drama, just like, you know, we already talked about, the Great Push was fucking awesome. I sat there for 3 days for 5 hours watching the whole thing. And I had no one I cared about winning. Until like the last 2 days where I wanted the man's team to win. Like, I didn't care. Like, I had literally, like, if there was someone in my guild, I would understand it because I would always watch someone in my guild performing. But like, I didn't give a shit. And then it was just fucking awesome to watch, man. It was really, really awesome to watch. There was like, it's just like, it was so relatable. It was just like swapping from stream to stream, seeing some teams tilt when something went wrong, another team staying positive, instantly timing the key after that. It's like fast paced and a 5-hour thing. Fucking great, man. I don't know if this juices the MDI, but I find it hard to believe that, because like, okay, so first of all, this was just a one-off event. In a way, you could look at this event as a concept. And, you know, you're not necessarily saying like this is the thing that will carry WoW esports, because I think it's proven that it might be able to, at least like dungeons. But man, was it fucking awesome. It was so good. Dude, I can't even see Preach's messages. What color is his name? I memorize everyone's color of their name, but I can't see what he's saying. Oh, here we go. IMO, the Great Push, was an interesting experiment where we got to see some stellar gameplay from across the globe. And after analyzing in full for the past few hours, I'm just not sure how to get an animated Windows desktop. Preach! Why'd you make me read all that just so I found it? Dude, that's what my viewers do to troll me. You just did that to me. God damn it. Dude, it's real easy. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm supposed to call you Mike. I forgot you hate being called Preach, or you don't like being called Preach. But I didn't like know your name, but now I do. Yeah, it's called Wallpaper Engine. It's right here. This little bitch. Wallpaper Engine. It's on Steam. Costs like a couple bucks, like $3 or something, and you can get really cool backgrounds. Only small problem, there's a lot of shit on there that if you see it, you will never be able to unsee it for the rest of your life. I'm talking tentacles and everything. So you know, browse with caution. But it's there. Yeah, I don't know if Preach is into that stuff, but you never know. Mike, fucking goddamn it. All right, okay. Sorry, Mike. Let's see. I think the Great Push might get fucked if they move to YouTube. I mean, yeah. I don't know why they would have to move it to YouTube, though. Actually, no, I could see them moving it to YouTube because, like, the deal that they had with Overwatch League and Call of Duty League and stuff like that was that, and they basically said, and all other WoW stuff, and they didn't even mention the stuff by name. They said it would be on YouTube, but then this tournament was done on Twitch. So I wonder if they got special permission for that, or if they said because it was a one-off event and it wasn't an official WoW esport that they didn't have to do that. But yeah, if you're telling me that would the Great Push have been different if it was on if the main, which by the way, the main Warcraft channel on Twitch was fucking awesome, showing all the things, the casting, it was really, really good, which proves that it's a really good like concept, right? But yeah, if that was on YouTube and the people weren't allowed to stream their POVs, would it have been a worse event? Oh yeah, it would have been fucking dog shit. Not dog shit, but it would have been way worse. I think the fact that the players were allowed to stream their POVs, and the fact that it was available on Twitch and YouTube made it much more marketable. Yeah, dude, switching POVs was the shit. I remember we were like watching Echo time their 27, and then I went over to JPC's team, and they, the man's team, and then they were like at the end of a plaguefall, and dude, they didn't time a plaguefall by like a couple of seconds because they had a death right at the end, and that was like none of them said anything, and then out of nowhere, the man opens his mic. He goes, "Let's go, boys. Let's just do it again." His team, shaking with confidence, zones into the thing, instantly times the 27. Let's fucking go. Oh man, I cannot wait till the next one of those. And you guys might be saying like, and I agree that all Mythic Plus tournaments are better off as a once a season kind of tournament instead of a, week-long cup thing. I've always thought week-long cups for the MDI were really boring, but I could see this being a better week in, week out cup thing than the MDI. Because it's just better than the MDI. Like, yes, is the fact that it's a one event provide more hype for the one event? Sure, but I don't know if that's enough for Blizzard to make it an esport. They probably want to make it more than that, with like points you earn every week or something. But the thing is why that doesn't work for the MDI is because the MDI is a fundamental worse esport than the Great Push in every way. Mythic Plus dungeons are player versus like the dungeon. And in a way, I think one of the biggest problems with the MDI is it boiled down to team versus team. Team versus team in a player versus dungeon scenario is just fucking weird. At least in a head-to-head matchup. It never worked. Not to mention that as soon as someone died, it was like a predetermined outcome who won. And it was just like you had to wait 20 minutes to find out. And the broadcasts were super long. Like there's just so many problems with the MDI. But the Great Push was just team versus dungeon against a bunch of other teams in a set time frame, which is just 100 times better. Hopefully Blizzard's really good at their jobs, by the way, and they find ways to improve this. I mean, this was a first-time concept. I think it's pretty hard to imagine that they got it perfect, right? There's definitely certainly there's better ways they can enforce unique strats and stuff. Just whatever that is going to be. So hopefully they fix that. But like outside of that, I mean, even just the format alone, like. Is there more teams? Is there, 6 hours instead of 5? Is there, you know what I mean? Like where do they go from, like, how do you improve it? If they do that well, I think they could make it a thing. But as far as like WoW esports are concerned, I'm not necessarily in favor, like I'm not fully convinced that they should just juice the MDI, but man, the Great Push is just so much better. And it's not even like it's a first time thing, so it was hype. Like, no, it's actually just tangibly better in so many areas. I don't know if lobbing the MDI is the play, but if there has to be one or the other, I would bet everything on the Great Push being optimized and a lot more thought put into it than I would ever trying to fix the MDI, because I think they've been trying to for years, and it's actually gotten more boring over time. Like, they've basically tried to fix every problem, but they've done it the wrong way, right? Like, they saw, ex-Hunter main in chat complaining, like, oh man, how come my Hunter isn't in this key? And then, like, Hunters are run for a full season, like triple Hunter, and then the next season they're not. And then they're like, oh, I miss when Hunter was there. And then, like, at the same time, there's an Ellie Shaman main in chat that's like, oh, I'm not in the comp. So Blizzard was like, well, okay, well, if all these people are mad, well, I guess the best thing to do is make it so you can't stack any classes, haha. And because of that, it'll limit the team's creativity, but there'll be less complaining in chat. Wrong. Turns out people in chat are just going to complain that it's the same comp every dungeon. Whether it's Triple Hunter or Mage Moonkin X, every single time, it's the same comp. There's no way to appease a fucking YouTube commenter. They're nuts. So, like, you can't help them. You have to just make your tournament. The best content creators, a game like an actual game or a content creator, the best ones are the people who don't listen to their chat. They're the ones who just create content the best way they know how, and hopefully it's possible, because that's the best product you're going to get. Not instantly caving to casual players' demands that their class be represented, because you can't fix that problem in a 5-man WoW dungeon.